In this 2019 DD Talk, Monomi Park, Slime Rancher, founder Nick Popovich, explains how you can make your game stand out and survive amongst the thousands of games released every year. KTOPOVICHSSTRATEGY is the idea that selling your game is just the starting point. To help it survive and thrive, you need to give it a pulse, throw updates, etc. that makes players feel engaged with the living game. He also delves into what makes a game feel like home, and why cultivating that sort of appeal is so key to ensuring players keep coming back to your game and talking it up to their friends. Popovich's talk was rich in practical examples and lessons learned from Slime Rancher's development. And now you can watch it completely free over on the official GD YouTube channel. In addition to this presentation, THEGDC Vault and its accompanying YouTube channel offers numerous other free videos, audio recordings, and slides from many of the recent game developers conference events. And the service offers even more members-only content for DD Vault subscribers. Those who purchased all access passes to recent events, like DD, would already have full access to DD Vault, and interested parties can apply for the individual subscription via a DD Vault subscription page. Group subscriptions are also available. Game-related schools and development studios who sign up for DD Vault Studio subscriptions can receive access for their entire office, accompanied by contacting staff via THEGDC Vault Group subscription page. Finally, current subscribers with access issues can contact DD Vault technical support. Metroidvania, what image did that world create in your mind? Super Metroid, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night are a newer title from an independent developer, like Chasm or Axiom Verge, 1986, X Metroid, and its SNES sequel. In particular, are touchstone titles in what has now unquestionably become its own genre. The first in the series introduced many console gamers to the idea of a large, explorable 2D platforming world. In 1994, Super Metroid refined that gameplay immensely, while adding depth storytelling. 3 years after that, Symphony of the Night expanded this formula in all directions, adding both complexity and depth at every turn. First off, I did not like the state of action games at the time, says Koji Igarashi, when asked where 1997 as Symphony of the Night came from. Titles divided into discrete stages were tending to get more and more difficult, leading to a situation where good players quickly finished them and beginners were no longer getting their money's worth. There was also the fact that the people on our team, including myself, really liked The Legend of Zelda, so we wanted to create a game in that style. In retrospect, it's little surprise that this game launched a genre. It was a clear attempt to break away and create a holistically enjoyable game for a wide audience. The result worked too well to remain unique. Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. Though retro game fans can point out any number of similar titles, Igarashi and his team arrived at a functional, repeatable design, and Symphony of the Night came quickly enough on the heels of the acclaimed Super Metroid that it could become entrenched as a formula. I think it was not until Symphony of the Night and its sequels, melded Super Metroid and Castlevania, that the classification narrowed to mean something like side-scrolling action adventures with obstacles in a continuous map that you can surmount only after finding the requisite items and backtracking, says Tom Happ, whose upcoming Axiom Verge is one of the most promising new titles in the genre. The next turning point for the Metroidvania was the seminal 2000 and indie title Cave Story, created by Isuka Pixel Harmonian all on his own. It was not just a highly creative evolution of the genre. Harmonian's ethos of building the game by himself made it a title that is inextricably linked with the rise of the indie movement, and the game's art and design have proved as influential as Harmonian's
DIY
production style. Cave Story 2009 as Shadow Complex, developed by Cheer Entertainment for Microsoft, is also worth mentioning. Its massive commercial success as the console market for independently developed games began to take off showed that the genre had a viable future. That's not the only reason it's notable. One moment that always stood out to me was when Donald Mustard said, to you, no less, that Super Metroid was the pinnacle of 2D game design. I kind of feel that was the first moment somebody really tried intentionally to make a Metroidvania, rather than just an action-adventure with aspects of Super Metroid, or Symphony of the Night. Hap says, referencing my 2009 interview with the Shadow Complex Creative Lab. Now that it's an entrenched genre, developers are trying to capture the essence of the Metroidvania and to extend it further. I spoke to a number of them to find out why and how they are doing it. My first stop was to ask these developers, what makes the genre so enduring? Why does it fascinate these independent teams? After all, it's been a niche for years and years. It's only recently, post-indie boom, that the number of games exploded. The concept is universal, declares Eric Umenhofer, developer of Tempest. James Petrucci, of Chasm developer Discord Games, agrees. I think the core mechanics are timeless. Exploration, character improvement, platforming, and combat. Chasm, I figure it's the excitement of enjoying the adventure, mixed with gameplay that's easy to get comfortable with. I think the exploration element makes you feel like you are moving the story along yourself a lot better than with titles divided in 2 stages. And I think having character growth elements allows gamers to enjoy the story right up to the end, says Igarashi. When discussing the genre's appeal, platformers have always been an easy, upfront genre to get into. Compounded to those simple mechanics, the addition of backtracking, upgrading, power-upping and accessing new areas adds a lot of spice to how the adventure opens itself up for the player, giving him the impression, even if it's a false one, of being inside a very big context that's ready to be explored in a multitude of ways, says Alonso Martin, developer of Heartforth. Alicia, you are the story, you are the adventure. It is up to you to discover where to go and unearth the mysteries of the world you are stuck in, says Renegade Kills Jules Volchon, who recently launched his own Metroidvania, The Drifter. He sees the genre as a way to offer players a game that focuses on exploration, freedom, self-improvement, and overcoming previously impossible challenges. It's the genre's blend of elements that has made the Metroidvania so enticing to players and developers both, says Umenhofer. It's everything that you want out of an indie game. Not a huge time commitment, easy to play, fun and challenging, and usually relatively cheap to make and buy. Symphony of the Night's map screen. Source, GameFAQs. The focus on exploration that Volchon touched on is a major part of the genre's appeal, if the words of these developers are anything to go by. In this genre the phrase, knowledge is power, something we've had all our childhood, is choking a literal sense, says Andrew Bottle, developer of the upcoming Legend of Wire. At least that's why I love the genre, to explore and discover and learn about the world I am let loose upon by the creators. I think it's extremely important that players guide themselves, because, ultimately, it is something the player should do. Personally, I prefer, instead of going to a park to play, I would rather go to ruins to play, because you can think, feel, and search for yourself your own way to play. Case story creator Daisuke Omoyan told me in 2011, "Nothing is more exciting than possibility," says Matt White, developer of Ghost Song. True discovery is only possible if you can find things that you may not have, and have experiences within a game that you may not have.